Morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great start to their weekend. Just wanted to give you guys a quick weekly update as to things I've been seeing in the news during the week. The first thing is that the FDA has approved the vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech. So basically, they're going to start distributing the vaccine throughout the country. This is going to be it's pretty big news. Again, this is something they were calling for. The Trump administration was calling for trying to do this by the year end, and it looks like they're going to start delivering that. And like we mentioned before, it's going to be up to the states to determine how they want to allocate the vaccine. So chances are it's going to be to the frontline workers as well as maybe people who work in hospice and work with the elderly. In terms of just everybody in general, you're probably not going to see the vaccine come to you probably till late next year, but we are making some progress with that. In regards to just the election, so the Supreme Court recently, as of last night, didn't take up a case from Texas, which was basically Texas was suing other states to say that basically the mail-in ballots were invalid or, necessarily went against the Constitution. The Supreme Court didn't even want to hear the case. So, Trump's push for trying to get the election overturned is pretty much a no-go. So come Monday, you will have a real president-elect because that's when the Electoral College meets and actually decides at that point to elect him. So like I said, when you do an election and you put your votes in, technically speaking, you're not voting for the president at that point. You're voting for the electors who are going to vote for the president, whatever. In regards to the stock market, from things that we've seen, I mean, you've seen DoorDash, you've seen Airbnb. These things have been running up 100% in a day. This is just my personal opinion. Okay, I think a lot of us are suffering from recency bias. We forget that there's something called mean reversion in the stock market, which means things go back to normal. What you're seeing right now is not normal. Right? The stock market, you could basically throw a dart at the stock market and anything going up. There's a lot of people running around on the internet right now that look like geniuses because everything that they pick is going through the roof. Doesn't mean that they're good at stocks. It just means this is how the market is. So, just be careful out there when you're investing. This is not normal what you're seeing this year. This is, having these runs that you're watching now. Take a very good look at your portfolio if you are trading, if you are doing that, and in my opinion, prepare, and make sure that you're doing things for the long term. But like I said, when you have DoorDash, you have Airbnb, you have these other stocks that are running through the roof, it's hard to argue about what's going on. I just want to make sure I remind everybody this isn't normal. In terms of the stimulus, so I think they just had another extension to keep the government open for another week till they try to figure out what the stimulus package is going to look like. The two major items, right, is number one, do you send the stimulus checks again, which I don't think you're going to get. The second also is whether you send money or bailout money basically to the states. Which is something that progressive states are really looking for because they're completely under budget because of COVID, or over budget. Their budget's not going to be in line at all. So that's something I think that is I don't know if we're going to get that by year end. I think you're going to get something, but I don't know if you're going to get what you think you're going to get. And you also have to understand there's liability protections that Republicans want to pass through the Senate. Which basically protects companies from getting sued if you go back to work and you contract COVID. So those are like the three items. With 2 weeks left, I don't know. I really don't know if they can pass something meaningful like that. And one of the last things I would bring up is if you live in New York, Governor Cuomo has said that he's raising taxes regardless if he gets money or stimulus from the federal government when they pass this bill, regardless if there's people who are going to be going back to work, regardless of anything that happens, he's basically said he's raising taxes. The only difference is how much the taxes are going to be raised depending on what stimulus comes through from the federal government. So if he's thinking about it, then a lot of these progressive states are going to start doing exactly the same thing. Now, what that means, is it just tax everybody who has a high income, or is it tax everybody? In general, I don't know, but if I was a betting man, I think it's going to be everybody across the board. So if you live in New York, you can expect your taxes to somehow raise next year. It's just deficits that they have to deal with. And the last thing I would say is for folks that are dealing with student loans, um, there has been a lot of chatter about what Joe Biden's going to do in the first 100 days as president. I still don't know if he's going to be able to partially forgive student loans via an executive order. I mean, that's not my lane, right? In terms of like judicial and whether he has the authority or not. I just don't know if he can legally do that via an executive order because I don't think he's going to get it through Congress. So whether or not he forgives, $10,000, I don't think he's coming in and wiping out your student loans. Not happening. But whether or not he goes in for 50 grand, so you see Chuck Schumer is pushing to do, 50 grand, and Elizabeth Warren, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to do maybe 10 grand for everybody who has federal student loans. I just don't know if he can do it via executive order. So I think you're going to see some haggling in the Senate where, to pass it through the Senate, maybe Republicans are going to have to get something so that Joe Biden can save face. If Joe Biden does not pass something for student loans next year, it's not going to be a good look. So everybody enjoy the weekend. Hope that weekly wrap helps you. Click the like link, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Until next time, stay safe.